so go ahead and give me a call back. Ain't no one gonna call you back. If you ever leave messages, make sure that you leave mystery messages. Sebastian, you're never gonna believe this. Call me back. If you really want to learn how to sell on the phone, you got to understand one thing. Nowadays, most people respond to text. If I were you and I was working on the phones, I wouldn't necessarily call them like I used to. That's getting a little passé. I mean, think about it. Have you ever missed a call? Absolutely. Have you ever ignored a call? Absolutely. But when you get that text message, ding, whenever that text message pops up, ding, what do? You reach for the phone to see who texts you. I've never missed a text message, but I have missed phone calls. So if I were you, I would realize that the phone has more than just a verbal ability. You've got the ability to write excellent copy within the text messaging. And by the way, if you use more text messaging, you'll probably get more responses because people don't have their guards up. So use text message more often than you probably are currently. When you do use text message, make sure that you're succinct. Make sure that you're concise. Make sure that you take a moment to think, because you don't have to have a conversation in real time. So therefore, back and forth can be a little bit more methodical, a little bit more planned out, and let's say strategic. So use text. Also, for those of you that are newer, keep in mind, you really want to make sure that you are prepared before you get on the phone. Okay, if you're calling somebody on the phone and you're unprepared, you sound like a bumbling idiot. You have no idea where you want the call to go. You have no idea what you'd like the customer to do, and you just start sounding like a freaking scripted salesperson. Click, 15 times more likely they're going to hang up on you. So you want to be prepared and you want to be personable. You don't want to sound like you're reading a script. You don't want to sound like you just got hired for $8 an hour. You want to sound like a human being. Can you sound like a human being? Of course you can, because you do it every day, all day when you're talking to your friends and family. So you have to adopt that mindset when you're making these phone calls and make sure that you come across completely natural. Don't be nervous. Don't try to sell them anything. Try to have a conversation. Be concise with your words. Be concise with your points. Be concise with your questions. And also keep in mind, when people pick up that phone, you want to get to the point. You don't want to sit there and try and figure out and small talk people. You know, hey, how you doing? Is this a good time to talk? Listen, if someone calls me and I don't know who they are and they say, is this a good time to talk? You're inviting me to make up anything to get out of talking to you. So you do not ask them if this is a good time to talk. You be a little more concise and you be a little more confident and forceful, such as, Sebastian, Bradley, I'm going to tell you in the next 5 seconds exactly, bing. You're not asking questions and you're not doing small talk. How are you today? You know, is this a good time? Hope you're having a great weekend. How's the weather out there? See, you don't want to be fake, okay? You want to be real. That's the one thing I try to teach people, is to be real, to be authentically you. If people don't like you, that's their business. That's not your business. You like you, that's what's important. But you want to be concise when you're on the phone with people. Don't beat around the bush and don't drag on. People can sense when this is a sales call, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to hang up when it is. Why? Because it sounds like a sales call. How about make it sound like a conversation? You already know why you're calling, because you're prepared. If you don't know why you're calling, that means you're not prepared. And if you're not prepared, you didn't listen to my last one. Be prepared. Make sure you know exactly what you want from the conversation before you even have it. I also want you to speak a little more quickly, like I'm doing right now. See, when you speak a little more quickly, people don't feel like you're going to keep them on the phone forever. So they will not try to get you off the phone as quickly or as often. So you want to speak a little more quickly than you normally do, and you want to make sure you have certainty when you're speaking. You know, Mr. Smith, Bradley. Mr. Smith, how are you doing? Doesn't sound the same. You know, Mr. Smith, Bradley, I'm only going to be 5 seconds. 2 questions for you. Bing, bing. You know, get to the point, cut to the chase, have a little certainty, speak a little quicker, and make sure that your volume is a little bit louder than it normally is. Why? You don't want someone saying, excuse me, what's that? As you don't want to have to say, huh? What? So at the end of the day, you speak up so they can hear you clearly, and when you speak up naturally, they will begin to raise their volume as well. Now, I could keep going. Matter of fact, I think I will. You also want to take control of the conversation. You want to be the one in control when you're on the phone. People can hang up, and as soon as you say something wrong, they're likely to. So you want to make sure that you have control of the conversation. Like, for example, if you want them to get a pen and a piece of paper, you say, go ahead and grab a pen and a piece of paper. I'll wait. You take control. Hold on one moment. I'll be right back. Hey, can you hold while I check on those figures for you? Bam. At the end of the day, you want to sound like you're in control. You want to sound like you know what you're doing. You want to sound like you're professional. And more importantly, you want to have have rhino skin, because not everybody's gonna be nice to you. You wanna have that thick skin so a few people hanging up on you doesn't make you freaking give up for the rest of the day. Because another thing you gotta understand is you gotta keep going. See, too many people start hitting the phones and then they get a little rejection, so guess what they do? They let it get into their head, and the next thing you know, they give up. You can't give up. You gotta keep going. Working the phones is a numbers game. I always say the more hands you shake, the more money you make. Well, if you're using the phone, that's a handshake, that's an introduction. If you're prepared when you make that introduction and you're concise and confident and secure in what you're saying, you know exactly what you want to know, you know exactly what you called them for, you're gonna have a lot better success on the phone. And also, if you ever leave messages, make sure that you leave mystery messages. Let me explain what a mystery message is. You don't say, hey, my name's Bradley and I'm calling you to sell you and explain to you how good my product is, because then the next time you call, after they receive that message, they're more than likely not ever gonna answer your phone now. So you leave mystery messages. Mystery messages are something that sound a little more like this. Hey, I got great news, call me back. Or, you'll never believe who I ran into, give me a call back and let's chat. You don't want to leave messages where you basically reveal the reason for your call. You know, hey Bob, I was just calling because I was looking to see if you could have 15 minutes one of these days to allow me to come in and show you how my products and services, so go ahead and give me a call back. Ain't no one gonna call you back. You wanna leave mystery messages or good news messages. Any kind of good news. Sebastian, you're never gonna believe this, call me back. And by the way, when they call you back, what am I never gonna believe? Well, you're never gonna believe the kind of deals I got going on down here at Beer Beer Beer. See what I'm saying? That's what you do. You leave good news messages, man, if you want a call back. See, a lot of these people out there, a lot of these sales trainers will tell you don't leave a message, just hang up. Well, the reason they're saying that is because hanging up is easier than trying to figure out how you get people to call you back after half of you are leaving some messages. So at the end of the day, you don't leave messages where you basically reveal that you're a salesperson and the next phone call is to be avoided. You ever heard about being ghosted? Well, that's what it is. It's when people don't want to talk to you, so they just let the phone ring and ring and ring. And if you've been listening to any of this, what would you do if that were to happen? Text them. That's why I'm saying text works more often than calling. But when you do call, after everything I've just went through, and you do want to leave a message, make sure that it's a mystery message or a message of good news. That, my friends, is a little taste of what you can get by subscribing to the channel and checking out the rest of these videos.